This is really interesting. So, regular season records for the first 3 seasons in the NFL as head coach. Kyle Shanahan, 23-26. Sean McDermott, 25-23. Pete Carroll, 25-23. Kevin Stefanski, 26-24. I'll take it a little bit further. Bill Belichick, 20-28 in his first 3 years as a head coach in the NFL. Zach Taylor, who has his Bengals on the verge of going to back-to-back Super Bowls, 16-32-1 in his first 3 years. Andy Reid, who's the other team in the AFC, first 3 years, Philadelphia, 27-21. Now, with Andy Reid, he did have Donovan McNabb for all 3 of those seasons. I guess what I'm saying is we don't know how good of a head coach Kevin Stefanski is going to be in the NFL. That's kind of why we're going to sit here and see what he does with Deshaun Watson as his quarterback.
Yeah, that's kind of why I thought, all the noise about, would the Browns potentially move on from Kevin Stefanski this offseason? I thought that was kind of foolish because, you look at, what Kevin Stefanski has been as a head coach. Yeah, they haven't gone to the playoffs since that first season. Yeah, they've underachieved the last 2 seasons, but there are extenuating circumstances. But yeah, for those 2 seasons, and 2021, it was the regression of Baker Mayfield, and what we've seen in 2022 is it's more on the player than coaching in certain situations. In 2022, obviously, the defense underperformed. That's why Joe Woods went out, Jim Schwartz went in. So we're going to see, obviously, what kind of head coach Kevin Stefanski is, because I think now in year 4, he's running out of excuses. He's going to have to perform, and I think he will, because we've seen, plenty of times throughout his coaching career, especially this season, he's been able to make the most of what he has on offense. I mean, with Jacoby Brissett, the fact that the Browns were able to put the numbers that they did on offense was actually pretty impressive. And I know, people are going to say, well, they didn't do that with Deshaun Watson. Well, I mean, when you're bringing in a quarterback who hadn't played in 2 years, hadn't practiced with the team in almost 3-4 months, and you only can do so much in those practices, obviously, that's why it kind of looked as disjointed as it did at times, or why they just didn't score as much as I think everybody hoped or expected he would. The question is going to be, can Kevin Stefanski make Deshaun Watson look like Houston Deshaun Watson? If he can, then this Browns team is going to go places. They could possibly contend with some of those teams in the AFC and possibly, make some noise in 2023.
Yeah, and I think he can even make him look a little bit better than he did in Houston, because there's a little bit more around him here. But again, it's on Kevin Stefanski to design this offense around Deshaun Watson coming up for next season.